Good evening and welcome to a special episode of the Card Subject Exchange podcast. Unfortunately, we're coming to you back-to-back nights for the wrong reasons here in the wrestling world. Tonight, we are eulogizing and mourning the loss of one Wyndham Rotunda, better known to the wrestling world as Bray Wyatt and The Fiend. Wyndham Rotunda was 36 years old as he passed away unexpectedly today. Reports are out there of how he passed away, but we're going to wait till more information comes in on that. I am Never Wrong Nick Bull, joined, of course, by the Wizard CZ and the Stripes here on the Card Subject Exchange podcast. We are powered by Lopez Pizza, and we thought it would be good to come on here. I know some people are this one hit a little harder. Bray being 36 years old, around the age of us young strapping men. It's a little different than the Terry Funk situation. Funk was 79 years old, lived a full life. I believe Bray Wyatt just had a baby not too long ago. Was engaged or maybe newly married. I won't say for sure, but this one hits a little harder. That's for sure. Bray
much so.
Bray is credited as being one of the best wrestling minds out there, creativity-wise, whether you agree with him or not. I mean, you can. I mean, the proof is in the pudding with the different ideas and the different personas that he did have. I'm going to kick it over here to Stripes Chris Angle. Stripes, when I say Bray Wyatt, what comes to mind for you? What do you think of when you hear Bray Wyatt?
I just think of going back and thinking about his promos. That's the one thing that just he was ingenious with the way he spoke, with the way his words just they kind of just meshed. It doesn't matter what Bray Wyatt had to say, you would turn it on and turn it up. And Bray just had that presence about him, and he was just. I think the reason why it hits so hard for us now is because he was ready to make his return, and it was going to be, from all reports, it was going to be soon, and it just. Like I said, it's one of those things where very unexpected. And if you see me looking up and looking back down, I'm currently watching John Cena and Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse match from COVID Mania. But it's just when I heard it, I was at a loss for words, and I didn't want to believe it. It's one of those where you're just like, it's not true, is it?
Stripes, going off what you said, in this day and age, I got about 4 texts at one time, 2 of them from you guys, and then 2 from some other wrestling friends. And I went to Twitter right away, check it, make sure it wasn't a farce. But before I throw it over to you, Wizard, I wanted to say one more thing from Stripes. What he said, you're right. When he talked, you listen. For being a beast in the ring and portraying the Fiend and Bray Wyatt, this deranged, misled soul, he was very eloquent with his words. He had a way with words, and I think that's the beauty of what Bray Wyatt was. And I think when you said that he was getting ready for a comeback, I think everybody kind of was hoping that he would be next in line to take on Roman Reigns in the Bloodline. But we'll never know what the plans were for him when he came back. CZ, I'm going to throw it over to you. I know you. This one hit you pretty hard. When I say Bray Wyatt or you hear Bray Wyatt, what do you think? What comes to mind?
Well, I wanna start. The first thing I did when I heard what happened, I was on Facebook. I saw somebody posted Triple H's Twitter feed, so I immediately went to Twitter to look up his feed, and I saw that our good friend Tim Regal had reposted it. So I went to him. I'm like, "Is this legit?" And he said, "Yeah, it's from Triple H's verified account." And it was devastating to me. When I think of Bray Wyatt, I have to think of we've talked about the likes of Chris Jericho being able to reinvent himself. Bray Wyatt is another one of those people that is really good at tweaking his character and moving to the next step, whether it be the cult leader, whether it be the Wyatt family, the Fiend. Personally, my favorite time with Bray Wyatt was during the entirety of his cult leader gimmick, where you look at matches like with Daniel Bryan when he was forced to join the Wyatt family. Randy Orton. I have one of the most vivid memories of Bray's title run is Randy Orton burning down Sister Abigail's shack and saying, "I'm coming for you, Bray. I'm coming for your title." It just this was hard hitting, and I went to our Twitter. I went to my own Twitter page. I posted something there. I went to our Twitter page and I said, I literally have tears in my eyes while I post this. It's just so young and so sad to lose him the way we did at such a young age, especially like Stripe said when he was getting ready to make his comeback.
The age thing is the one that really hurts for me. The age thing and young kids, being a dad with kids, kind of put yourself in those shoes. Kind of the same way I felt about the passing of Brody Lee. Luke Harper, Brody Lee, when he passed away, just same age and young kids, it kind of hits you different. Gerardo Bienes has commented and asked on here, "What up, guys? Do you know how he passed away?" And I'll say this, and we'll say this about Twitter and stuff. There are reports out there. You can go out there and read them. We're choosing not to speculate on the cause of his death until it's official, and we're also pushing people towards Twitter if they want to read wrestlers' tributes to him. Wrestlers are very active on Twitter. We were kind of looking them up before, but there's just so many tributes out there written by wrestlers right now. We're going to point you in the direction of Twitter when it comes to that. CZ, I'm going to piggyback off what you said. My favorite incarnation of Bray Wyatt was the Southern, when he had that Southern drawl and follow me, come to my family. I just loved that. The Hawaiian shirts, the fedora. It had a very Waylon Mercy-esque presence to it. If you don't know who Waylon Mercy was, it was Dan Spivey's gimmick in the early 90s. It had that Cape Fear, Robert De Niro feel to it. Very creepy but cool. You wanted to know what he was going to say next. And and
I mean the whole Wyatt family,
there he is
era
right there.
was just the whole thing, there it was just.
And I think it's a reflection. I think it's a reflection on Bray. When we talk about the Wyatt family, you had Daniel Bryan involved. You had Randy Orton involved. Those are two guys that wouldn't work with him if it wasn't going to be worth it. And man, they made some good wrestling movie or matches. They made some good TV, and we're fortunate to have that to go back and look at in the past. Totally forgot until CZ brought it up about Sister Abigail's house burning down and Randy Orton being a part of it. And yeah, that was something. I know they had the Firefly, or they had the Funhouse match, or what was the official name of match at WrestleMania 33? The Chamber of Horrors match?
This was before that.
This was
36 was the Firefly Funhouse match.
33
was the House of Horrors or the Chamber of Horrors match. I want to say the House of Horrors match.
Okay. Just very creative, and I'm glad WWE allowed him to be creative. I guess I just wish it comes out sometime in the future, like what their plans were going to be for him, like what the next step creativity was going to be for him. We can always sit here and speculate, but man, he was going to take the ball and run with it. If you're just joining us here on the Card Subject to Change podcast, powered by Lopez, I'm Never Wrong Nick Bull, along with Stripes, Chris Angle, and the Wizard CZ. We are here talking about the sudden passing of Wyndham Rotunda, better known as Bray Wyatt at the age of 36. Wyndham Rotunda is his real name, and if that's like, that sounds like Barry Windham, you're right. Barry Windham is his godfather, was a tag team partner to Mike Rotunda. His father, Mike Rotunda, was also IRS for you wrestling fans out there. So Wyndham Rotunda, that's how he got his name. And
And the brother of Bo Dallas.
And the brother of Bo Dallas, correct. So got the first name of a great wrestler, and he's in the part of a wrestling family, you know. But
Nick,
it's definitely Go ahead, CZ.
I wanna you were talking earlier about Brody Lee, Luke Harper, however you want to name him. When I was scrolling through Facebook, I saw a great post. I don't remember, and I'm only going to paraphrase it, but as sad as it is that we lost Bray Wyatt, you've got to think that Brody Lee was standing at the gates with his arms open to welcome him home.
Yeah. And one of my good buddies, he kind of said the same thing. He put up a picture of Bray Wyatt and Brody Lee, and he said that this reunion was supposed to be decades from now. And I definitely agree with that. The great thing about the WWE and Peacock, I'm going to go off on a tangent here. They were very quick to put up a lot of Bray Wyatt things. Right now I'm watching Bray Wyatt's scariest moments. They just, they're putting up all this Bray Wyatt stuff. And I think it's great to see how one of the biggest companies in the world is getting behind him, and they are, showing the fans stuff that maybe they possibly forgot about or missed.
No, it really is. It's a nice thing that they have up. I told you guys before I got on, usually I throw some wrestling on at night, but I debate what I'm going to watch, but there's no doubt what's going to be on tonight. Definitely the highlights of Bray Wyatt's career. And I'll say this about the wrestling community. It didn't matter if you ever liked the guy in the ring or if you ever liked the person's character. When someone passes away in the wrestling community, everybody kind of comes together and understands the loss, the brevity, the heaviness of the situation. And I think everybody is here, passing at such a young age, 36. I mean, and 36 is young in wrestling years. If you want to talk about current wrestlers, there's guys wrestling well in their 50s that can still go. So he had so much untapped potential, both in the ring and out of the ring creative wise, that this one just stinks. It's a total bummer, for lack of a better term. Trying to keep the language clean here, but it is just a freaking bummer on this one. This one sucks. This one hurts.
And I hope tomorrow night on SmackDown that they don't brush it over. I hope they are frantically, trying to scrounge together something worth, showing that will not only, show Bray Wyatt or Wyndham Rotunda the man, but also show Bray Wyatt the character. And I'm hoping it's not just a video package. I know I saw a couple things online that say, hey, I hope, maybe spend an hour, at least on SmackDown, kind of going over his career.
Listen, they could do the whole show. They could suspend storylines for one night. They should suspend storylines for one night. I don't think people would throw a fit. People would understand and get behind it, and I think people would appreciate it. I know myself as a wrestling fan would appreciate it. You're never going to hear anybody say 10 years from now, man, I can't believe they paused the storylines. But this is one of the reasons in wrestling. This is one of the times I think you can just, you wave the white flag, press pause on the machine, and go back. And, I'm sure there's going to be a tribute of some sort. I would imagine everybody gathering on the entrance ramp and the 10-bell salute tomorrow night to start SmackDown. I don't know. I'm just speculating here just from past things in wrestling. But, yeah, it would be nice to see them press the pause button and
especially since Bray was such a force on SmackDown, and on Raw, but just that pressing that pause button, I think needs to be done.
Andrew Trejo commented in here, they need to reveal Uncle Howdy. Hey, I totally agree. I think I said earlier, I want to know what they were going to do with him when they brought him back. I hope at some point it comes out. I just, as the fans, I think we deserve to know what the plans were and just how big the scope and how big the storyline could have been with him in it.
And that's what I just can't get over. Bray Wyatt's mind for this professional wrestling business that we're in. that we get the privilege of watching each and every day. He got it. You know what I mean? Like, he knew what to say. He knew what to do. And I mean, it helps when, your father is IRS and your godfather, is Barry Windham.
Yeah. He was born into the family. He'd been around it all of his life. But
it's just like, this man had a mind that, man,
he was in a wrestling family. Stripes. He was in a wrestling family. He had a mind and he put his own twist on it, and it still stayed within the realms of wrestling, and people loved it, for better or for worse.
And it's gonna go down. It's gonna go down as one of probably the greatest wrestling minds in history.
Oh, for sure.
I think.
Yeah, I totally agree.
At least in the modern day.
We're going to go around the room here. This is the Cards Subject to Change podcast, powered by Low Pies Pizza. I'm Never Wrong Nick Bull, joined by the Wizard CZ and Stripes Chris Angle. We're talking about the passing of the late Wyndham Rotunda, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt, a.k.a. The Fiend, were his WWE personalities. Another comment here, Wyatt family versus Judgment Day would have been a match to see. Holy moly, that would have been something. Man, that would have been fun. That would have been a lot of fun. Let's go around the room here real quick. What's the one match that sticks out in your mind, CZ, when you hear Bray Wyatt?
As silly as it sounds, the WrestleMania 36 Firefly Funhouse match with him and John Cena. They were really coming into their own with those cinematic matches, WrestleMania 36, because what choice did they have? It was COVID Mania, no crowd.
For sure.
But it was fun. It was enjoyable to watch. You had the Fiend. The whole Bray Wyatt gamut was run with John Cena, and every iteration that you could imagine and that happened with John Cena. That's the first one that comes to my mind when we're done.
You talk about the Firefly Funhouse match. I read something after that was done, how much fun John Cena had with Bray Wyatt while they shot that, and it shows in it. The cinematic match was a big thing to do during COVID Mania, just to break up the monotony of guys wrestling in a room with nobody, and I thought they knocked it out of the park with that one. Stripes, what's the match that you think of when you hear Bray Wyatt, or what will you remember Bray Wyatt for?
So it's not so much as a match; it's more of a rivalry. I think of Bray Wyatt, and I think of the Wyatt family versus the Shield. That image of the Wyatt family on one side, the Shield on the other side, and
like Avengers Civil War, standing and looking at each other, right?
Yes,
the face
exactly.
off, the pose down.
and they get in the ring and just all hell breaks loose, and it's just, and I mean, they didn't just have that one meeting. It's just they had multiple meetings, and I just think that sticks out to me more than anything.
I'm gonna go with a match that Bray Wyatt could talk. He was great on the mic, but one that sticks out to me is Royal Rumble 2014. I love big guys who can work, and Bray Wyatt showed it here. Royal Rumble 2014 was against Daniel Bryan, and it was a phenomenal wrestling match. And when it went outside, it was a phenomenal brawling spectacle. That's one match I'm definitely going to go back and watch tonight, and that's the match I'll remember Bray for, outside of also when he won the WWE Championship for the first time at Elimination Chamber 2017. That was a big deal. I remember going on Twitter that night and just being happy that they finally pulled the trigger on Wyatt and that they were going to make him the man. And he went into WrestleMania as a champion. There's not a lot of guys that can say, hey, they walked into WrestleMania as the WWE champion. I mean, that's an honor in and of itself. Excuse me, even though he dropped the belt to Orton that night, that's an honor in and of itself to walk into Mania as the defending WWE champion. So that's kind of the two things that stick out with me. Fellas, any closing words here before we wrap this up?
I mean, I want to I want to thank everybody who joined us to help us pay tribute to Bray Wyatt tonight. I know we've had a lot of people in and out of the broadcast for the last 20 minutes, so thank you. I'm sure
Yes.
you guys are feeling quite the same as we are. I really hate coming on live for this kind of circumstance, especially doing it 2 nights in a row. But Bray Wyatt is one of the great minds in wrestling and will be forever missed, in my opinion.
Stripes, what do you got?
Again, I want to send my thoughts and prayers out to the Rotunda family, to his wife, his kids. It's another one lost too early. 36 years old is too young to be gone.
It is 36 years. Whether you're a wrestler, whether you're a guy digging ditches, whether you're a guy that's got a different job, that's way too young. I'll wrap it up here. I'll tell you what, it's been very cathartic for me here, watching the people come in and out of the ring, or in and out of the room, listening to what we have to say. I hope if you heard something here, it's able to help you with the passing of Wyndham Rotunda. I know yesterday with the passing of Terry Funk, we kind of put it out there that, we'd be on, but this is kind of a last minute decision. We didn't know if we wanted to come on or not. But I think I can speak for the Wizards here, the Wizard CZ and Stripes here, that I'm glad we came on and did talk about this. And hopefully some people found some solace here while we did talk about it. But I'm going to wrap things up here for my trios partners, Stripes, Chris Angle, and the Wizard CZ. I'm Never Wrong, Nick Bull, and this has been a very special episode on the passing of Wyndham Rotunda. We here at the Card Subject Exchange podcast and the For Frequency's Sake Network send out our condolences to the Rotunda family in this time. Wyndham Rotunda was 36 years old.
Have a good night.